I think it was a tremendous launch, tremendous day for digital assets broadly. There's all the maxis are upset because, these people don't own Bitcoin. You're right. Technically, you're right. The Bitcoin was created so you and I or anyone else could exchange value without an intermediary. So no, these people are not going to hold their keys and they're not going to put it in cold storage. But here's the thing. There's going to be a transition from TradFi, traditional finance with trusted third parties, to ultimately DeFi or no-fi, right? Where there's no trusted third parties. It's just going to take time. But this is a great stepping stone for people to add what has been, the best performing asset over the last decade. It's actually been the best performing asset 12 of the 15 years it's been in existence. Most people have zero exposure. Mm-hmm. Not people listen to the podcast, but most people have zero. And, I've been talking about this since 2017, 18, right? Get off zero. Zero is the wrong number. Now, I'm not saying 100% or 90% or 80%, but zero is just wrong.
Yeah.
And you want to have some of this asset in your portfolio for lots of different reasons. For the low correlation to other assets, it protects your portfolio. For the fact that it is a store of value against devaluation of the currency. That was the big one for me. When Larry Fink, right, who's the head of the largest asset manager on the planet, BlackRock. So we've added $1 trillion of debt to the national debt in the last 3 months. Now, just again, to put that in perspective, you and I would have to sit here together for 31,710 years and spend $1 every second. That's 1 trillion. So it took 199 years to get the first trillion of debt in this republic. And the last trillion came in 3 months. So what does that mean for the purchasing power of our fiat, the money that we're paid for our work and our service and our lives? Well, it's going down. The value of the money is going down. It's being devalued by the creation of this, what I call the fiat fiasco. And so having a portion of your wealth in this asset that is the antithesis of an inflationary fiat currency, it's a deflationary store of value. It's just a logical, rational thing to do. Super Bowl ads tend to happen at peaks in hype.
Sure.
I don't think we're anywhere near a peak in hype. Now, I think what you are going to see is a blitzkrieg of television ads, internet ads, web page ads. Like if you go to Kathy Wood's ARK, 21 shares, you're going to see front page. If you go to Fidelity, you're going to see front page. You go to BlackRock, you're going to see front page, all talking about Bitcoin. And I think that's positive. The media campaign is not just media and not just, like brainwashing, but real education.
Yeah.
Because ultimately what you have here is you have the haves, right? My brethren and sisterin, us boomers, right? To be born from 46 to 64. So I'm the second to last year in 63. And all of us, we own a lot of stuff. What we don't have is a lot of education and knowledge, which is, the next generation, the millennials and the Zoomers have on digital assets. And so this education process has to happen. And look, we have the boomers like Peter Schiff and Nouriel and all these guys. It's going to zero. It's going to, I'm like, hey guys, you've been saying it's going to zero for 13 years. I went back and looked. For 13 years, they've been saying the same nonsense. Mm-hmm. And now we're nearly $1 trillion of value in the greatest computing network of all time. And this is the thing. There's little b Bitcoin, right? Or I should say big B Bitcoin, the token, and there's little b Bitcoin, which is this network.
Mm.
The token, yeah, it has no cash flow. It creates no value. That's not what it's supposed to do. It is a store of value, like gold. The network, the Bitcoin network, is the most powerful computing platform the world has ever seen. It's a better way to store information without the need for a trusted third party, right? A triple entry accounting system is one of the great innovations of our time. And that technology is never going away. More and more assets are going to migrate to that. In fact, ultimately, I'll argue every asset in the world, stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities, everything. And actually, Larry Fink was saying this. It was funny. He was saying this on CNBC, and I sent out a video I did a couple years ago, said, is he watching my stuff? I mean, literally, he's like, not word for word, but I say that immodestly. I mean, Larry's a smart guy. But everything is ultimately going to settle on these ledgers. And a ledger and a token is just an entry on a ledger. It's not a little piece of gold coin somewhere. It's just an entry on a ledger, but it's permanent. It's immutable. It's not corruptible. You know, our current system is full of corruption. Look at all the fines paid by the banks, you know, over $360 billion of fines for money laundering and, you know, backing the wrong people and arms dealing and all kinds of stuff that they get in trouble for over the years, because monopolies don't really have to pay attention to the rules, right? They can do what they want. Now, they can get censored by regulatory bodies like the SEC, but at the end of the day, my favorite was when JP Morgan, right, whose CEO was on TV yesterday saying that Bitcoin was shit. He actually called it. I mean, he didn't say it was shit. He said, and shit like this,
right,
which is kind of calling it. But he's out there and he's calling it, you know, only used for money laundering and like, okay, but remember, your firm was fined $960 million 2 years ago for manipulating the price of gold. And their quote was, well, yeah, we did, but we made 20 billion. So that was just like a cost of doing business. My other view is you can always judge the quality of an idea by the quality of its detractors. Right? If you have an idea and no one who's important or meaningful hates it, it's probably not really that big an idea. If you have an idea and people who have power and influence don't like it, you're onto something.